I want to talk to you today about the story that you've been telling yourself to not start. Because we all have one story that we tell ourselves to justify things. Maybe it is, I do not have the resources yet, or I cannot afford to hire the coach that I really want to work with, or I do not have the specific thing that I need to do this the right way. And so you end up waiting. You're waiting for the resources. You're waiting until you have enough money for the coach. You're waiting until you have enough money to join this mastermind. You're waiting for the specific thing. And while you wait, nothing gets built. So today, I want to challenge that story. Now, let me tell you something that I learned growing up in Haiti. When I was making something and I did not have, for instance, a specific ingredient, let's say I was cooking a recipe in Haiti, I did not have a specific ingredient, I did not stop cooking. I found a substitute and I improvised. I used what I had. And most of the time, the dish came out just fine. Sometimes it even came out better because the substitute I used, it added something that the original ingredient would not have. But here's what I noticed when I came to America and suddenly had access to more resources, more options, more of everything. I started doing something different. Instead of improvising, I started waiting. If I did not have the exact ingredient, I would say I'm just going to have to wait until I make it to the store to get this ingredient. I cannot make this today. And I'm not going to make it because I do not have this one thing. As if the abundance of options had somehow made me less resourceful, not more resourceful. And I see this happening in the online business space all the time. People with more access to tools, more access to information, more access to resources than ever before, all of a sudden are completely paralyzed because they do not have the one specific thing that they have decided for whatever reason they need before they start. And here's what I call the one thing trap. You identify one thing that you believe is the key to making your idea work. That one thing can be the coach, joining the mastermind, buying the course, being able to afford a specific software, the funding, the network, the connection. And you make your entire decision dependent on that one thing. If I had that, I could start. If I had that, I would be better ready to start. Oh, if I was able to afford that, I would finally do it. It wouldn't take me that long. And here's what happens. You do not look for alternatives when this happens because you have already decided that the one thing is the thing. And so you wait for that one thing. And while you wait, you even discard your own ideas. You dismiss your own instinct. You don't even want to bet on yourself. You're not even thinking about that. You stop trusting that you could figure this out without the one thing. Your own idea, the one that was valid, the one that was perfectly good, it no longer has weight anymore. And we do not do that on purpose. It's just because you have convinced yourself that without the one thing, nothing that you come up with matters. And I want to tell you, that is the trap talking, and it's not the truth talking. Now, let me name some of the stories that I have heard and some of the stories that I even told myself. Story number one. I need money to hire this coach. So and so work with this coach. And this is the main reason they're successful today. And if I cannot hire this person, I will not start. I want you to sit with this one because I understand the value of coaching. I really do. But I want to ask you something. If that coach was never an option, if you didn't even know that they existed, not today, not tomorrow, not ever, you've never heard of that person, what would you do? If coaching wasn't even something you even considered, what would you do? How would you start? Because if your answer is, I would figure it out, then the coach was never the requirement. The coach was the excuse. Ouch. Story number 2. I do not have the right framework yet. I'm still learning. I'm not ready. I'm not so sure that how I want to go about it is the right way. Now, I want to ask you, how much longer do you plan to learn before you start doing? Because the most important learning does not happen in the preparation. It happens in the doing. It happens in offering a service and getting feedback. So you will learn more in 3 months of actually building something than in the 3 years of getting ready to build. Story number 3. I have all these resources now, but I cannot decide which way to go. This is the one that I want to spend some time on because this is what happens when the one thing trap, it flips. When you had nothing, you waited for the one thing. And now that you have access, you have too many things, you have too many options, you can go in too many directions, too many ways that you could go. And the abundance is creating the same paralysis that the scarcity created before. I call this the indecision that looks like preparation. You are not stuck because you do not have enough. You are stuck because you are waiting for the perfect option to make itself obvious. And guess what? It will not. It will not. You have to choose imperfectly. And then you have to move. Here is what I want you to think about. A lot of times when I compare my life now to what I accomplished when I was a young girl growing up in Haiti, I realized that a lot of what I accomplished, it had nothing to do with the things that I thought I needed. I did not even think about those things because they were not an option. So I just did it. I found a way. I improvised. I used the resources that I had at that particular moment. And somehow things got done. So I want to give you back that version of yourself. The one who did not wait for perfect conditions. The one who found a substitute ingredient and kept cooking. The one who knew that where there is a will, there is always a way. Park all of them. The one about the coach that you cannot afford, the one about the framework that you have not found yet, the one about having too many options to choose from. I want you to park all of them today and ask yourself one question. If none of those things were options, if none of those reasons existed, what would you do? What would you do? That answer right there is your starting point. And I want to be clear about something. I am not saying that resources do not matter. They absolutely do. I am not saying also that coaching has no value. It does. What I am saying is that the absence of any one resource is not the end of the road. It is actually an invitation to find another way. And the woman who finds another way, the woman who improvises, the woman who uses what she has, the woman who starts without the perfect conditions is the woman who actually builds something. Friend, you already have more than you think. You already know more than you are giving yourself credit for. And the story that you have been telling yourself about why you cannot start is just that. It is just a story. But today, you get to write a different one. You write a different story starting today. Okay? So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Webley. I am a launch and funnel strategy. And I want you to drop a comment below and tell me, what is the one story that you've been telling yourself that is causing you to not start? I want to read every single one of your answers, and remember to hit subscribe. And with that, I will see you in the next video.